concerns over foreign interference amidst the USAID row after Donald Trump's allegations earlier in the week about $21 million being given for boosting voter turnout. Democracy in Dhaka plummets to yet another unprecedented low as radicals tussle for Sheikh Hasina's ouster credit on social media as the world has nothing but to watch on in despair and disgust. Bharat stands on the precipice of history as the Maha, the world's largest religious gathering, nears its climactic end. Accusations of brazen ill-treatment, shameful racist remarks and brutal high-handed response from Odisha's private university KIIT after Prakriti Lamsal's alleged suicide leave a blot on India-Nepal social ties. On to our top story this week on India Acends. The war in Ukraine will soon be marking its third anniversary. What started as a Russian invasion aimed at a quick victory has turned into Europe's largest conflict since the Second World War. But 3 years on, it's not just Ukraine, but Zelensky's fight to be politically relevant that is at the center again. In fact, he's fighting for his existence. Ukraine continues to struggle. The global dynamics surrounding this war have now shifted. With the new president in America, the White House, global relationships have changed. Diplomatic conversations have in fact changed. And the war's third year is set to prove pivotal in reshaping the global order. This report tells you what all has this war done so far, where it has claimed hundreds of thousands of lives, reduced cities to rubble, saw hired mercenaries from North Korea to Africa to Europe fighting a war with absolutely no ideological moorings. Take a look.
A dictator without elections, he's not going to have a country left. Got to move.
3 years into the war, Ukraine's fight has taken a dark turn. Zelensky, once a symbol of resistance, celebrated by the West, is now under attack. President Donald Trump's return to the White House has upended everything. The US, once Kyiv's staunch ally, has turned its back, signaling a potential shift towards Russia, once a global pariah. Trump's America First mantra, now focused on ending the war, has ignited chaos.
He refuses to have elections, is low in the real Ukrainian polls. I mean, how can you be high with every city is being demolished? It's hard to be high. Somebody said, oh no, his polls are good. Give me a break. Every city is being demolished. They look like a demolition site, every single one of them. And the only thing he was really good at was playing Joe Biden like a fiddle. He played him like a fiddle. That's an expression we use, yes, sir, to say that he's pretty easy, pretty easy. A dictator without elections. Zelensky better move fast or he's not going to have a country left. Got to move fast.
Президент Трамп з великою повагою до нього відносимося як до лідера народу, який ми дуже поважаємо, американський народ, який нас постійно підтримує. На жаль, живе в цьому дезінформаційному просторі.
Europe's once solid backing of Ukraine is now a distant memory. Leaders like German Chancellor Scholz and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer are sidelined, leaving NATO fractured and vulnerable. Zelensky's position crumbling. Internal corruption scandals, fading NATO hopes, and the US retreating have left Zelensky in a desperate fight. The war's toll devastating. Cities reduced to rubble, civilians caught in the chaos, and international fighters on both sides further complicating the battlefield. As Russia pushes forward, the question isn't if Ukraine can hold, it's how long can it last. With Russian advances and relentless missile strikes, the future is uncertain. and the death toll continues to rise. The world watches, but will it be too late to stop the bleeding?
Well, as the war in Ukraine completes its third anniversary, its outcome remains less uncertain by each passing day. There are shifting alliances. There's now a fractured Europe. There are growing tensions. It's clear that this war is not just about Ukraine. It's about the future of global politics. And this may very well be the end of NATO as we know it. Possibly the dawn of a new era in cross-Atlantic relationships, one where Donald Trump will likely settle his differences with China in the Indo-Pacific with the hundreds of billions of dollars he intends to prevent spending on Ukraine, which his predecessor was doing till now. But one thing is certain, Zelensky is on his way out, with or without an election. Wide-angle story on the show. Over in Pakistan, after a year of political deadlock with Imran Khan taking on the deep state, it seems the tide has turned, well, against Imran Khan and in favor of the Pakistani army. On the face of it, there are some economic numbers that seem to be adding up well for Shahbaz Sharif. His government has now found some early successes in battling inflation, which has really been the biggest burning issue in Pakistan. Inflation has in fact dropped to single digits. Shahbaz Sharif has been quick to credit his efforts, emphasizing that it's been a shift from the past mismanagement. In fact, remittances are also up. Current account has also shown a surplus. Any positive news on the economy, no matter how little, no matter how insignificant, empowers the Pakistani army. It empowers the deep state. And the army, even during the country's deepest economic crisis, has always found resources for its arms purchases. And now with more than a sliver of positive economic data, the army will be emboldened further. But long before that, Imran Khan's political options will soon run out. Once the blue-eyed boy of the deep state, Imran Khan fell out of favors and has been taking on the government since last February's compromised election. Well, Imran Khan's efforts at negotiation and power building appear to be losing steam and will not be entertained. It may be the end of the road for his ambitious long-term economic outlook for Pakistan, even as the long-term economic outlook remains grim. There have been patterns that are similar to what happened in the previous economic cycles. Growth was short-lived, leaving the country grappling with growing deficits, dwindling foreign reserves. But long before that, Imran Khan will possibly be running out of all options to remain relevant in Pakistani politics. All right, on that note, we slip into a very short break. We come back with lots more on the other side. Stay with us.
Meet Simple's Active Skin Barrier Care Cream, clinically proven to reduce water loss in just 2 hours, helping skin repair itself. Use it in the morning as part of your routine, and it'll be working before noon, with the power of 22% replenishing nutrients, giving you long-lasting hydration for visibly healthy-looking skin. Simple's Active Skin Barrier Care range. Powerful results, suitable for sensitive skin.
Love a good deal? Try free to play Deal or No Deal, only at Tombola. There's up to £1,000 to be won. Get that good deal feeling. Open for fun.
I like to think ahead. Make sure I've got all the right tools for the job.
And now that I've turned 50, it means looking after what I've built. I'll be retiring down the line, and with the mortgage nearly done, I want to make sure that my lot will be protected if anything happened to me. That's why I decided to learn more about over 50s life insurance from Cover Today. They're the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period. Unlike other insurers who could make you wait up to 2 years for full cover, with Cover Today, you're fully covered from day one. And you're covered for the whole of your life. Plus, unlike other things in life, the price never goes up. Learning more couldn't be simpler and can be done in just a few minutes. Go online or talk to one of their friendly UK team who will chat you through your options in just one phone call. And their claims process is really straightforward, so your loved ones will be looked after.
Cover Today are the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period. Get monthly payments. Prices start at just £4.42 a month. Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Cover Today has given me genuine peace of mind. And now that's done, I can get on with something much more interesting.
To find out more...
And now that's done, I can get on with something much more interesting.
To find out more about Cover Today, call our friendly UK team on 0800 470 4322 or visit covertoday.co.uk.
Hi, it's Phoebe from Auto Trader's monthly electric car giveaway, and we're pleased to say that you've won a brand new electric car.
It's a dream, honestly, it really is a dream. Oh my god. Me and my boyfriend talk about the Auto Trader competition every single month. I was waiting for the know you ever won.
Sign up and start saving with Quidco today. Get cashback every time you shop on over 5,000 brands. It always pays to Quidco.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching India Acends. Turning our attention now to the other historic story, in fact. Bharat stands on the precipice of history, really, as the Maha, the world's largest religious gathering, nears its climactic end. In just 5 days, on the 26th of February, nearly 60 crore, 600 million people from every part of the world would have taken the holy dip, marking the largest congregation in human history for any religious, cultural, social event after a 144-year alignment of the stars. This isn't just about numbers. It's about India's ability, its strength to do the unthinkable, something that has not been done anywhere by humanity. Before we talk more about the learnings that the Kumbh presents to the world, take a look at this report that really sums up the perfect alignment between the soul and Kumbh.
Singular purpose binds these millions of devotees, moksha, liberation from the endless cycle of life, death, and rebirth. People from New York to New Delhi, from Tokyo to Timbuktu, all stand united by this sacred quest. As the sun sets over the Ganges, a profound truth becomes apparent. Life is fleeting, but the journey of the soul is eternal. The sacred river offers more than purification of the body. It cleanses the soul, providing each pilgrim with a chance to wash away their sins, to begin anew, to find peace. With each offering that ascends into the sky, the Maha Kumbh continues its timeless rhythm, life, death, and rebirth, attracting believers and non-Sanatanis. Even the harshest skeptics have been silenced by the scale and fluidity of this monumental event. The meticulous organization and the overwhelming number of souls gathered here speak to the undeniable power of belief and the relentless human spirit and India's ability to organize big-ticket events seamlessly. The sheer numbers are mind-boggling, from almost 3,000 AI-enabled CCT cameras to 160,000 tents and more than 50,000 cops manning the area non-stop for 40 days. The meticulous organization and the overwhelming number of souls gathered here speak to the undeniable power of belief and the relentless human spirit and India's ability to organize big-ticket events seamlessly to our humanity's pursuit of the divine.
In fact, Harvard Business School has studied the Kumbh, marveled at the sheer scale, and there are lessons for all, from global management lessons in balancing sustainability concerns along with building size. Every 12 years, a city larger than the size of New York comes up, only to be dismantled with minimal environmental damage. Usage of technology that offers real-time solutions that are both affordable and scalable. Everyone from epidemiologists to doctors to scientists to tech experts, for them, Kumbh offers a perfect opportunity to test technology, to test their solutions at a scale that is impossible anywhere in the world. In fact, to talk more on this, Harvard's Professor Tarun Khanna, who's been studying the Kumbh for a while now, joins me on India Acends. Professor Khanna, thank you so much for speaking to me. And you've been studying the Kumbh Mela for over a decade now. What has been that one long-term opinion that you have about this festival across its various editions?
Thank you, Gauri. We first started studying the Kumbh in 2012, which was a year before the last so-called Maha Kumbh in 2013. And it was really the brainchild of two of my colleagues, Diana Eck, who's a professor of religion and philosophy, and Rahul Mehrotra, who's a professor of urban planning and an architect. And based on their suggestion, my institute at Harvard together a collection of almost, I want to say, between 50 and 70 researchers who went to the Kumbh. And I think for the first time we had an amazing tent on the Kumbh that was a pure research tent. And I think it was sort of a bit of a transformational moment for research, at least, possibly for the Kumbh Adhikaris, because they saw that people were studying it and were intrigued and participated. And I have to say they've been incredibly supportive. The state government and the central government have been very supportive of these efforts. And what's happened since then is literally a dozen, maybe 24 institutions around the world have picked up on this idea. And now I'm told there are so many research efforts by Indian and global universities that are proceeding there. So it's really lovely. My overall sense, speaking a little bit parochially as an academic at Harvard, is that it's a wonderful platform on which a lot of other creative things that are socially useful can happen. Right? So in addition to being, the most incredible spiritual and religious event for Hindus, it just is a magical place on which you can learn so much about human behavior, business organization, traffic flows, epidemics, temporary urbanism, you name it. And we tried very hard to initiate an encompassing 360-degree view of what learnings can come out of this coming back. So that's been my dominant impression.
Okay. So how do you think technology has been used in this edition, the Maha Kumbh, where a lot of people say, experts say, it's been the perfect blend of technology and tradition? What are your thoughts?
Even before large human gatherings, I would say that there's a more fundamental lesson, right? Which is the way societies modernize, right? So I'm a student of economic development primarily. The way societies modernize is by bringing in new ways of doing things. It may be literally the things that we think of as technology. It may also be new practices, for instance. But the trick is to do it in a way that doesn't cause you to lose your center of gravity, your civilizational ethos. In Hindi, we would say your sanskriti, right? Your culture. And what I really like to think of the Kumbh as is it's a laboratory, ultimately, where you can see the merger of tradition and modernity, right? So that's a general thing. Right, it applies to large gatherings, but also applies more generally. I'll give you an example. Some years ago, my student and I, Amleek Singh in Bangalore, started a company called Chai Point, which is now India's largest tea retailer, formal tea retailer. And the reason I'm picking on this to make the same point is there's nothing as traditional in India as having a hot cup of masala chai or adrak chai or something like that. So it's part of our tradition. We have it multiple times a day, we enjoy it, bond over it, families and friends get together. But Amrik Singh and his team have really built a 21st century 5G compatible, biometric compatible, robot driven way of delivering very high quality chai, right? Without changing the ethos of how chai is consumed or the taste, what have you. So again, it's this blend of modernity and tradition that to me is the most interesting lesson of the Kumbh.
Okay. Professor Khanna, I have to ask you this about what would you like to say to the naysayers? There have been a fair bunch of naysayers. What's your message to them?
Well, to be honest, I don't know who the naysayers are or what they've said. There's always room for improvement in the logistics and management of the Kumbh. I think there's always room to do better forecasting. This is why, as a faculty member in a School of Management at the Harvard Business School, it's another reason why the Kumbh is so fascinating. It's a massive, massive management challenge and an organizational challenge. Even just a small effort for a relatively small company like Chai Point, which is on site with 10 or 15 stores and 200-300 people, with the supply chain disruptions and prominent people arriving and things getting shut down, security and so on. It's a real lesson in how to adapt to fast-moving circumstances, and that's a general lesson. So you can learn a lot. So to your naysayers, I would say, provide some suggestions for how you think. Get involved in learning from the Kumbh, and get involved in making some suggestions. It's fair to criticize, but criticism with involvement and suggestions is even more welcome. And I will always distinguish between the intention of the Kumbh, the main intention of the Kumbh, which is spirituality and a communal bond. That should be the focus. The efforts that we're describing are intended to make two contributions, I think. One is to enhance the experience of the Kumbh, which I firmly believe can be done with a judicious infusion of better management and better use of technology that is becoming increasingly available. And the second is to use the Kumbh as a laboratory of humanity and to learn from various people who come together. So on both those fronts, naysaying is fine, but it would be better if it had some constructive suggestions also.
That's a great feedback, naysayers, to the naysayers, that there should be constructive criticism of the Kumbh. Thank you so much, Professor Khanna, for joining in as the top voice this week on India Acends. All right, moving on to the quick take segment on the show. First up, USAID, the $45 billion arm of the US government meant to align with the foreign policy goals of the American government, seems to have meddled with elections in the Indian subcontinent. There are conflicting reports about where exactly did USAID spend in the electoral process, either in India or in Bangladesh. But the figure is known, that is $21 million. The question that we are asking is why and whose voters will actually be boosted by such an exercise. These are revelations that are part of the crackdown by the DOGE over expensive and excessive spending by the US government, but brings to fore serious charges about possible role of the American state in elections in Bangladesh. In fact, last year, former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina had claimed that America tried to overthrow her government for geopolitical reasons. Hasina's claims may have been rejected by America, but it needs to come clean on the motive of boosting voter turnout in a foreign country. Next up, second, the tragic death of Prakriti Lamsal, a Nepalese student at the private university in Odisha, KIIT, has ignited a storm of controversy, casting a dark shadow over India's higher education landscape. Accusations of ill treatment, racist remarks, and an alleged high-handed response from the university authorities have shamed the institution and left a strain on India's international reputation. As Nepal-India relations forged over centuries, they now seem to have been impacted. The situation grew more complex, with KIIT's troubling U-turns, dismissive actions towards those grieving students. Yet despite this black spot, with New Delhi's unwavering support, Nepalese students, one of the largest foreign student groups in India, will continue to seek education here. After all, a single blot cannot erase a long and entire legacy of the two countries. Next up, India's strength on the global stage has been underscored once again at the G20 meeting in Johannesburg, where External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar sat down with his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi just hours ago. As the world watched, the two countries took significant steps towards mending ties. Remember, this has been a process that's been going on ever since the two sides declared disengagement in the last couple of weeks. Mending ties have also meant that there's going to be resumption of the much revered Kailash Mansarovar Yatra. Direct flights between India and China are also set to resume. This isn't just diplomacy, it's also a testament to India's unyielding commitment to dialogue and stability. Despite past tensions, India's strength lies in its capacity to build divides, bridge divides and ensure peace, all while fostering people-to-people connections. In a world divided by conflict, India remains the unwavering voice for unity and collaboration. What looks like ahead is going forward, the India-China relationship, while the trust factor still needs to be addressed in the long term. In the short term, it looks like both sides are making strides to move past their Galwan clash almost 5 years back. All right, that's all the time we have in this edition of India Acends. Thanks so much for watching.
Meet Simple's Active Skin Barrier Care Cream, clinically proven to reduce water loss in just 2 hours, helping skin repair itself. Use it in the morning as part of your routine, and it'll be working before noon, with the power of 22% replenishing nutrients, giving you long-lasting hydration for visibly healthy-looking skin. Simple's Active Skin Barrier Care range. Powerful results, suitable for sensitive skin.
I'll fix him, love. Poor pet. Just shows you never know what's going to happen. Which reminds me, I need to protect the life we've built. That's why I'm looking into Smart Family Life Insurance. Hi, I'd like a quick quote, please.
OK. You can choose a benefit amount up to £750,000, depending on your age. If you're a UK resident aged 18 to 64, you can apply with just a few health and lifestyle questions. For £250,000 of cover, the price starts at just £14.77 a month.
That's less than I thought. And it could help my husband with the mortgage.
Just like families, not all life insurance is the same. That's why we offer the Smart Family Guarantee.
That's good to know.
You'll also receive a 100% advance in the event of terminal illness and 10% cash back on your first year's premiums. That's the Smart Cashback. Plus, you'll also get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Protect the life you've built the smart way. To get a free quote today, call our specialist UK team on 0800 977 5753 or visit smartinsurance.co.uk.
Kelsey and Reese could part exchange their car. Or check out We Buy Any Car. They could be confused if they got a good deal part exchanging. Or have cash in the bank with more bargaining power to get their dream camper van. Bad vibes or good vibes only. To get a quote in 30 seconds, enter your reg number now at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
With retirement round the corner, I want to spend more time with my family and less time worrying about the numbers. Which reminds me.
Welcome to British Seniors, the UK's #1 rated provider of over 50s life insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote.
No problem. We're proud to offer our seniors lifetime guarantee. With 100% of claims having been paid, we guarantee your premiums will never go up and that you'll speak to one of our specialists in the UK. UK residents aged 50 to 80 are guaranteed to be accepted. Depending on your age, your loved ones can get a cash payout up to £10,000.
And that money could help with funeral costs or even as a gift for the grandkids. I'll do it.
Plus, when you sign up, you'll receive a £135 gift card and free 24/7 GP advice and health services.
You got them all right. That's amazing.
Be proud to protect your loved ones with British Seniors. To get a free quote today, call our UK team on 0800 977 5808 or visit britishseniors.co.uk.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Hello and welcome to the Southern View. I'm Veera Raghav. Lots lined up on the show, including our focus on who can solve Bengaluru's traffic woes. But first, let's get you the top headlines we're tracking this hour. In an NDTV exclusive, Union Minister Dharmendra Pradhan says Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin is disrespecting the apex court and alleges that the refusal by Tamil Nadu to implement the NEP is politically motivated. He speaks out for the first time on the confrontation, even as the DMK says there will be no compromise on the two-language policy. Andhra politics getting spiced up with the focus on the chili. Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu pushes the Centre for Support for Chili Farmers. Jagan Mohan Reddy also gets aggressive in the state. External Affairs Minister Jaishankar meets Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi on the sidelines of the G20 meet in South Africa. They discuss bilateral links. Well, first up this evening, Union Minister Dharmendra Pradhan, in an NDTV exclusive, has sharply defended the centre and hit out at the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin over the NEP three-language policy confrontation between the centre and the state. While he told NDTV Stalin is disrespecting the apex court and that the opposition to the NEP, the National Education Policy, is political in nature, he has written in a strongly worded letter to M.K. Stalin that there is absolutely no Hindi imposition. The DMK has been on the offensive, and Stalin even complained to the Prime Minister that the centre is threatening the state by not releasing funds. In his letter, Dharmendra Pradhan emphatically argued that the NEP promoted learning the mother tongue and aims at strengthening Indian languages and correcting over-reliance on foreign languages. Read that as English. The DMK is unwilling to relent and is creating an emotive narrative of Hindi imposition, appealing to the linguistic sentiments in the state before the electorate, virtually turning this into a who will blink first battle between the centre and the state.
Unfortunately, I beg to differ with Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu to use such kind of derogatory words. This is condemnable in a democracy. Governments should not talk to each other in this language. This is unfortunate. He is speaking in a political motivated language. I don't have an answer on that. What is his basic concern? Who is going to, they have created a fear psychosis. Union government is trying to impose Hindi. Who is going to impose Hindi? I am a Odia speaking person. In my state also, we are implementing three-language formula. In Punjab, they are using three-language formula. In Bengal, they are using three-language formula. Nowhere anybody is imposing Hindi as the third language. Any Indian language. So you have a political motivation. Unfortunately, I beg to differ with Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu to use such kind of derogatory words. This is condemnable in a democracy. Governments should not talk to each other in this language. This is unfortunate. He is speaking in a political motivated language. I don't have an answer on that. What is his basic concern? Who is going to, they have created a fear psychosis. Union government is trying to impose Hindi. Who is going to impose Hindi? I am a Odia speaking person. In my state also, we are implementing three-language formula. In Punjab, they are using three-language formula. In Bengal, they are using three-language formula. Nowhere anybody is imposing Hindi as the third language. Any Indian language. So you have a political motivation.
The central government has clarified that the new education policy's three-language principle is not imposing Hindi. It's only providing an opportunity for students to learn another Indian language, and that the DMK is spreading false information. What is your objection?
As you know, from 1967, the founder of our party, we were strong in this two education policy because we said this is more than enough for us. Tamil and English is more than enough. Tamil is to think on our mother language and English is to communicate globally. So this is more than enough for us. But here they are indirectly trying to encourage Hindi or encourage the Sanskrit. What they are telling we are identified almost 14,000 schools throughout the nation, and we are going to give the quality education. Very good, give the quality education, but not at the cost of any language, imposing any languages here. So for us, we are very comfortable with this two-language policy, and we have a proven track. We have a lot of achievements in our education system. So for us, this two language is more than enough than other language.
That confrontation playing out in multiple layers there between Tamil Nadu and the centre, and we'll keep a close track of it. Now to the spice in Andhra politics, and it's all about the chili that's now at the epicenter. Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu met Agriculture Ministry officials in Delhi to get help for chili farmers in the state. Agriculture Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan joined Naidu's meeting with his own department officials online. And back in Andhra, Jagan Mohan Reddy also seems all spiced up. Uma Sudhir with the details.
Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu met with Agriculture Ministry officials in Delhi on Thursday, even as Union Agriculture Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan joined on a video call. Naidu is leveraging his relationship with the Union government to get help for chili farmers in his home state who could be staring at severe distress after a bumper crop this year.
ఈ సంవత్సరం 12 లక్షల మెట్రిక్ టన్నులు ప్రొక్యూర్ చేయాలి. ఇప్పటికే 4 లక్షల మెట్రిక్ టన్నులు మార్కెట్కి వచ్చింది. అయితే ఈరోజు ఈ పంట వేసేవాడు 4 లక్షల దగ్గర 5 లక్షల ఎకరాలు ఈ పంట వేస్తున్నారు. ఈ సంవత్సరం ఎప్పుడూ లేనంత రేట్లు పడిపోయే పరిస్థితి వచ్చింది.
Farmers are worried that after spending as much as 2 lakh rupees per acre as investment on the cash crop, the prices have crashed.
The question necessarily given it will be a farmer to the maximum price, but they are not given to. How it is possible? One farmer is spent 2 lakhs 1 acre, but వాళ్ళకి డబ్బులు రావట్లేదు. 2 ఎకరాలు 2 లక్షలు పెడతాయి. వాళ్ళ కష్టం వాళ్ళ జీతంలో వాళ్ళు చేయాలిగా.
Former Chief Minister Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy visited Guntur's chili market yard on Wednesday and accused the Chandrababu Naidu government of failing to support chili farmers.
చంద్రబాబు నాయుడు గారికి రైతుల కష్టాలు కనిపించినా కూడా చంద్రబాబు నాయుడు గారి కళ్ళు మూసుకొని రైతులను కష్టాల పాలు చేస్తా ఉన్నాడు. ఈరోజు ఇదే గుంటూరు మిర్చి యార్డులో రైతులు పండించిన మిర్చి పంటకు కనీసం 10-11 వేల రూపాయల డబ్బులు కూడా రావడం లేదు.
YSRCP MP Midun Reddy has written to the Prime Minister and the Union Home Minister asking for central forces to provide security to the former Chief Minister, alleging that Chandrababu Naidu's government in Andhra Pradesh had deliberately denied him even police security at the Guntur chili market yard. Naidu, however, said that was because Jagan Mohan Reddy had violated the Model Code of Conduct that came into effect ahead of MLC election on February 27.
ఈరోజు ఎమ్మెల్సీ ఎలక్షన్ జరుగుతున్నాయి. అలాంటి ఎమ్మెల్సీ ఎలక్షన్ జరిగేటప్పుడు కోడ్ ఆఫ్ కాండక్ట్ ఉంది, మీరు రావడానికి వీలు లేదు అని స్పష్టంగా చెప్పిన తర్వాత దాన్ని వైలేట్ చేశాడు.
Union Agriculture Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has responded quickly and positively to the Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister's appeal, agreeing for market intervention, lifting of the ceiling of 25% on procurement, exploring avenues for export, and also sending across a team to study the ground conditions of chili farmers in Andhra Pradesh. With camera person Nagraju, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
Well, red hot chili playing its part in the red hot politics of Andhra Pradesh. But now to our special focus this evening. The notorious traffic debate in Bengaluru was sparked off again. This time it was Deputy Chief Minister and Bengaluru in-charge Minister D.K. Shivkumar's candid admission that, well, even God can't fix Bengaluru's traffic woes instantly. That sparked off the conversation around the horrendously long traffic jams and road time in the city. Speaking at a function, Shivkumar said that the need is for a planned long-term solution that will take many years. That is needed to reduce the congestion in the city, which has been notorious for its traffic snarls. Listen in.
ಒಂದು ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರ ಮುಂದೆ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಯಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ, ತಮಗೂ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಯಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. within 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, ಈ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಭಗವಂತ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ನಡೆದಾಡೋದು ಏನು ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಕಷ್ಟ ಇದೆ. ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಲಿ, ಯೋಜನೆಯನ್ನು ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಮುಂದಿನ ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸರಿಯಾದ ರೀತಿಯ ಒಂದು ರೂಪರೇಷೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ಈ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ.
Well, so if God can't fix Bengaluru's traffic problem, do we have any future at all? Do we have any hope? That's our Friday evening question. And joining me this evening, some very prominent Bengalurian voices, most of whom have often been stuck in traffic, including the traffic expert on the panel this evening, Sanjeev Dyamanavar, noted Bengalurian Priya Chetty Rajagopal and Madan Padaki also with us here, and Sandeep Aniruddhan, convener of the Citizens Agenda for Bengaluru. Sanjeev, first to you, do you believe that there is any kind of solution for Bengaluru's traffic problem that we are consciously working towards, that something could give us a ray of hope eventually at some point of time, that this city could be much less congested, at least for the next generation, if not for the present one?
Yeah,
sorry, did you ask Sanjeev?
Hi, Sanjeev.
Sorry.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the notorious traffic in Bangalore, that there are solutions already there, but we are not able to make it happen. Like example, the public transports, BMTC, metro, suburban rail, the pedestrian, the multimodal integrations, and discouraging of private vehicles by charging heftily on the central CBD areas, and further improvement on the roads. There are solutions are there which over the decade they have been going at a very slow pace. Take an example like a metro for a phase 2 which is started in 2014 to 2025, 11 years still is going on. Airport connectivity, which should have been taken first priority, that has been given a last priority. Suburban rail, which we have fought for 10 years. The work is started, but it's going at a very slow pace. There are very negligence by the bureaucracy on pushing the suburban rail and ensuring that it's implemented on a priority. Right. The next thing is the paid parking in the city areas, which is long pending, and same government every time they say that yes, we need to discourage the private vehicles, but that's not happening. Okay. We are encouraging more and more private vehicles. So, and multimodal integration.
Right.
When it comes to this, Delhi is much better in terms of multimodal integration. Bangalore is very, very pathetic. I have to say sorry to it, because even though we are IT city, tech city, everything, but we are having the poorest multimodal integration. We don't encourage people to use the public transport. We encourage more and more private cars. This is where Bangalore is facing the crucial thing. So the solution
right,
public
because
transport,
you know the increase in population number in the city is about 8% compared to the increase in population itself is about 4%. Priya, I mean, it's an overwhelming problem, but it's not one that can be addressed by the administration alone. It has to be addressed by across the board citizenry, several other sectors. Do you believe that we need to move towards something like a congestion charge, like cities like London and Tokyo have implemented?
This has been discussed for a long time, trying to bring in a congestion charge, especially in the CBD area. But that idea has been mooted and dropped. And most of this, I think, is primarily because most of the VIP movement tends to be in the CBD area. But I do think it's a good idea. If it's executed well, why not? But I think we've got a big issue here today. While I appreciate, the Honorable Deputy Chief Minister's comment saying only God can save traffic, it strikes terror into my heart, because one is, I'm not too sure whether God at this point has been, I know only God can make a tree, but God, I think, was not particularly sort of hired for the job of Chief Minister or Deputy Chief Minister. He really does have, he or she has better things to do. This is frightening, because when an elected representative throws up his hands and says, I really don't know what to do, I'm torn, as I said, between terror and appreciation of his honesty, because we do have a big problem. But where has it started? It started so long ago, and it started with such such a lack of, as Sanjeev, who's such an expert in this, talks about the lack of multimodal focus, lack of total focus. Just having different agencies talk to each other. We've got issues which are 6,000% increase in vehicles from 1980. I mean, that's really scary. So the exponential growth, the fact that we've got the largest number of two-wheelers in the world, our poor road infrastructure, our lack of public transport alternatives, and the fact that our daily health and life is being affected. We can talk about a lot of things go wrong in Bangalore on traffic, but that we will still, and Madan will agree with me on this, we still have some of the best talent and some of the most amazing companies, unicorns, and the kind of buzz in the city which even traffic cannot dampen. So there is that magic about the city, but I think it's about time that we start giving to Bangalore rather than taking away from it. The recent downtown traffic index shows us
as a friend of mine.
Sorry?
No, as a friend of mine once told me, Priya, that there is magic in your city. Only problem, it gets too choked to get to that magic. Sandeep, in a sense, the problem is, multifold. The question is that, look, nobody is expecting an overnight solution to it, and I think it would be unfair to demand an overnight solution to it. But are we even working towards it? Would you be encouraged by the steps that have been taken to work towards and say that, look, this is a problem, let's address it? Because for the last decade, we've been discussing this problem. Nothing seems to be getting better. It only seems to be getting worse.
Good evening, Veera Raghav. Thanks for having me on the show. I don't think we have addressed the problem. In fact, the reason God can't solve our problems is because the politicians don't allow God to solve the problems, and the politicians don't allow anybody to solve the problems. See, we can complain that, the politicians might not have gone to school or not have studied urban management or urban governance, might not have studied traffic planning, might not have studied urban planning. But can we excuse them for not reading the Constitution? And I think this is a problem with the citizens too. We don't know what's in the Constitution. We don't know what the constitutional framework for the governance of the city is. We don't know what the constitutional framework for planning of the city is. Everything that Sanjeev said is true, but that's something that's supposed to be in the domain of planning, and trained planners have to know these things. So who has to solve our problems? It is the planners. The Constitution has mandated in 1992. You know how many years that is? 32 years ago, that the city ought to have a planning authority called the Metropolitan Planning Committee. It's supposed to capacitate itself. It's supposed to hire 200, 300 urban planners and traffic planners like a Dubai or a Singapore or a London does. Right. Do you know how many traffic planners we have? Zero. Do you know how many urban planners we have? Zero. Then how do we solve our problems? This is the problem of our creation, because we are not capacitating.
Correct.
We should capacitate. We should, at least, we didn't do it before 1992, you had an excuse. After 1992, we don't have an excuse because it's in the Constitution. It's called the Nagar Palika Act 1992. The 74th Amendment, one of the most extensive amendments ever made to the Constitution. It mandates that we have a planning authority, a decentralized, devolved, unified, and elected city government. We don't have either. Why? The politicians don't allow it. They keep causing this problem. They don't solve it. And then they lift their hands and say we can't solve it. Why? Because they're not following the Constitution. Yes, Veera.
You're making an emphatic point there, and I've been consciously waiting to get Madan Padaki last in this conversation, because he represents largely the face of this elite, erudite, globe-trotting startup community of Bengaluru. Madan, the point that's being made is that while we all state the problem, no one seems to be addressing it, and no one seems to